Bray Wyatt sends a heartfelt message to fans, WWE Hall of Famer heaps praise on Ricochet, and Bayley sends a message to the returning fans from the hospital. Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you today's top stories in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. To stay up to date with all of our content, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bray Wyatt sends a heartfelt message to fans. Bray Wyatt has tweeted out a heartfelt message to his fans saying that he misses them. Wyatt hasn't appeared on WWE TV ever since the Raw after WrestleMania 37. He lost to Randy Orton at the mega event courtesy of interference by Alexa Bliss. His absence from WWE has resulted in tons of speculation among fans in regards to his future. Bray Wyatt's fans clearly miss him and would love to see him back on TV as soon as possible. His fans will be glad to learn that the former Universal Champion misses them as well. That's what Wyatt told a fan in his latest tweet. Fans who watched the Raw after WrestleMania 37 might remember that Bray Wyatt appeared in a Firefly Funhouse segment on that night and teased that a fresh beginning was on the horizon. Nothing came of it though, as fans haven't seen him on TV since then. Bray Wyatt is hands down one of the most intriguing characters in WWE history. He made his dominant main roster debut at SummerSlam 2013 by defeating WWE legend Kane. Wyatt went on to win the WWE title on the road to WrestleMania 33, but lost the belt to Randy Orton at the Show of Shows. He had an impressive reign with the Universal title in 2019 to 2020, but it ended up in a disappointing manner when he lost the title to WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg in Saudi Arabia. Bray Wyatt kicked out of a feud with Randy Orton in late 2020, which lasted for months on end, finally culminating at WrestleMania 37 with the Viper picking up a big win over Wyatt. This was Orton's second win over the latter at the grandest stage of them all. Chris Jericho says WWE star will never be a world champion with his current ring name. AEW star Chris Jericho believes that WWE superstar Rick Boogs is super entertaining, but will not be a world champion with his current ring name. He wants the SmackDown star to revert to his real name, Eric Bugenhagen. Rick Boogs, as he is currently known on WWE TV, signed with the company in 2017, debuting on NXT. After 4 years on the Black and Gold brand, he was called up to the main roster earlier this year. On Keeping It 100 podcast, Disco Inferno spoke about WWE SmackDown superstar Rick Boogs. He stated that he and Conan enjoyed Boogs' character on the Blue brand and asked Chris Jericho's opinion on the former NXT star, saying, quote, "I hate the fact that they changed his name from Bugenhagen, which is one of the coolest names. Bugenhagen, it was Rick Bugenhagen. That's the effing name, man, Boog. It sounds like an effing booger. I think he's super entertaining, very hyper. I think he would have had a chance to do something if they were to give his name Bugenhagen. I don't think Boogs. I always equate it to, say, world champion Chris Jericho. That would work. Your world champion Disco Inferno doesn't work. Same thing with Rick Boogs. There will never be a world champion called Rick Boogs." End quote. Disco Inferno added that he likes the way Boogs introduced himself on screen on SmackDown. Rick Boogs hasn't wrestled yet on SmackDown since being called up to the Blue brand back in May. His debut on the main roster saw him play Shinsuke Nakamura's theme music to bring out the Japanese star to the arena. He has been featured in segments with Nakamura in the former NXT Champion's feud with Baron Corbin on SmackDown. It remains to be seen if and when Boogs will wrestle on the main roster in WWE. WWE Hall of Famer heaps praise on Ricochet. Ricochet's most ardent fans would not be too pleased with the former NXT star's main roster progress. The former Prince Puma of Lucha Underground fame has consistently been one of the best in-ring performers in WWE, and his most recent Falls Count Anywhere match against John Morrison is a testament to his technical skills. The latest episode of the Kurt Angle Show podcast on adfreeshows.com featured Edge as the guest of honor, and the WWE Hall of Famer reserved some high praise for Ricochet. Edge talked about the evolution of wrestling from WWE's Attitude Era and how the current wrestlers had a different level of athleticism. The Rated R superstar called Ricochet the greatest high flyer of all time and admitted to being stunned by the WWE Raw superstar's in-ring feats. Edge added that he couldn't grasp how Ricochet pulled off some of his aerial moves. The SmackDown veteran also spoke about the changes in WWE and how performers these days face a sterner challenge getting over. Saying, quote, "What the guys and girls are doing now, like, I watch Ricochet and I'm like, he's the greatest high flyer of all time. Like, he can do stuff that I don't get. How do you black flip from your knees to your feet? How do you do that?" So I don't know what the answer really is. But I do appreciate the different sort of circumstances that talent have to try and get themselves over nowadays, because I think it's more difficult. Having come back now and seen it firsthand, I'm like, oh wow, this is harder. To try and present your story and your character, because the format has changed due to the necessity, due to those things that I talked about, end quote. Edge recalled how the Attitude Era was mainly about 2-minute matches, and the length gradually increased as WWE entered the ruthless aggression phase. WWE's publicly traded status and big contracts with TV networks transformed the product, according to Edge. While the WWE legend is happy with lengthier matches, he isn't a fan of the company's micromanaging of talents and angles. Edge added that the wrestling business isn't what it used to be, as there are now many rules and regulations curtailing the spontaneity and freedom of the WWE superstars. R-Truth reacts to Edge saying, "I don't count the 24/7 championship." WWE superstar R-Truth had a hilarious reaction to Edge's demeaning comment about the 24/7 title on Talking Smack. R-Truth has a soft spot for the 27 championship. He has done everything in his power to win the title on various occasions in the past and is a 53-time WWE 24/7 champion. He was livid when he heard WWE Hall of Famer Edge berating the 24/7 title during his latest appearance on Talking Smack. The latter stated that he has won 31 titles in WWE, which is more than anyone else has ever won. He proceeded to make it clear that he doesn't count the 24/7 title. R-Truth took to Twitter to respond to Edge's comment about the 24/7 title. The 24/7 title was introduced by Hall of Famer Mick Foley back in 2019. 24/7 title angle was entirely built around R-Truth's exploits with it and his willingness to do anything to keep it on his shoulder. He suddenly became a hot act, and his misadventures with the title were garnering millions of viewers on WWE social media handles on a weekly basis. R-Truth became so popular at the time that he was voted the most popular champion in a poll held on WWE's official website. He trumped the likes of Kofi Kingston, Becky Lynch, and Seth Rollins to win the poll. Edge was one of several people who hated the 24/7 championship back then as well, and didn't shy away from expressing his opinion over the title. He did add, though, that the belt could create more opportunities for WWE talent. Bayley sends a message to returning fans from the hospital. Bayley recently suffered an injury as a result of a freak accident, sidelining her for close to 9 months. In what can be described as a blow to both WWE and the WWE Universe, one of the MVPs of the Thunderdome era will be out of action for a while. What makes this injury even more unfortunate is the fact that it came almost a week or so prior to WWE's first show back in front of live crowds. Returning fans would have loved to see the role model in action, as she was expected to challenge SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair for the title at Money in the Bank. Instead, Bayley finds herself in the hospital preparing to undergo surgery for her injury. The former SmackDown Women's Champion has sent a message to the returning WWE Universe via Twitter, blaming them for her current outcome, saying, quote, "Can't wait to miss the first show in front of fans again. I blame you for this. Thanks a lot," end quote. Bayley may blame her injuries on fans, but there can be no denying that her presence will be missed in the next coming months. Hopefully WWE can find a way to include her, whether it be backstage or on the announce table. There's no denying that Bayley has been the MVP throughout the Thunderdome era. The role model has carried the company with her countless attempts to engage not just fans, but her colleagues as well, despite the lack of live audiences. Bayley is a bona fide superstar, and her absence could potentially hurt WWE as they prepare to welcome back the WWE Universe. That being said, hopefully Bayley's work at the Thunderdome will inspire her colleagues to continue to do their best as the crowds return. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. For more news stories and exclusive content, be sure to follow us on all social media. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.